So what the heck happened to the robot after Lost in Space? Let's find out.
Movies, music, and monsters.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Media Master Design. I'm Dan Monroe. Before we go any further, I simply want to say thank you to all of you guys. For the past 10 years, I've had like 5 subscribers on my page. Like maybe 10. But ever since I started posting all this cool Lost in Space stuff, it's gone crazy. I'm up to almost 1,000 subscribers in like a week. So thank you. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, and it really makes me glad to be able to share some really cool Lost in Space content with you guys. Not only Lost in Space, but I've got a wide range of stuff I want to do videos on. Basically all my huge loves and interests. Lost in Space, of course. Star Wars, The Beatles, Planet of the Apes, Halloween. Basically all stuff that has to do with movies, music, and monsters. So Lost in Space ended in 1968. And at that point, the cast went on to other things, and the robot went into cold storage. Now, I'm talking about the primary hero robot, the robot that Bob May, the actor, was inside for those 3 years. However, the robot in the 70s did get pulled out very occasionally for some really cool events. In 1971, there was the grand opening of an electronics store in California. They wheeled it into the store for photo ops to advertise the place, and they let kids and families get their pictures taken with it. Really cool stuff. Then in 1972 or 1973, and I didn't know this, and I have to thank my brother Paul for this. My brother Paul was the author of one of the very first Lost in Space books in the 80s called the Lost in Space Handbook. Apparently, Irwin Allen was partial owner of SeaWorld. And in 1972 or 1973, Irwin Allen put a bunch of his props at SeaWorld, including the robot. At this point, he was in incredibly good shape still. They had this red cloth over the mouth, I'm assuming to protect the neon. And this is really the last time that the robot was actually seen in public before a lot of very unusual modifications began to happen. In 1975, Bob May, the guy inside the robot for those 3 years of the show, put the suit back on and did a Jerry Lewis telethon. It looks like at some kind of a casino. Kind of strange. They swapped out the bubble for this telethon. It's different. Different shape. Then at this point, everything began to change radically for our dear friend, the Lost in Space robot. In 1977, there was a Saturday morning children's show called Skatebirds. And on this show called Skatebirds was a segment of another show called Mystery Island. Now you got to remember that back then, movie and TV props weren't as revered as they are today. So when this company said, hey, we need a robot, somebody just said, oh, grab that one from Lost in Space. We'll just change it and make it the way we want. And boy, did they ever. So they took the robot, they stripped most of everything off of him, spray painted the whole thing white, gave him a different bubble, completely altered the chest section. The legs look pretty much the same, but his feet or the tread sections were removed and replaced with this large cylindrical base. On the show, he was known as Pops. Not sure what that stands for. He was a goofy show, but hey, it was for kids, so it is what it is. One thing that I own in part of my Lost in Space collection, which I absolutely adore, is the chest plate that they put on the robot for the Mystery Island alterations. Now, these alterations were on the robot all the way up until 1989 when Kevin Burns restored it for the 25th anniversary of Lost in Space in Boston. However, before that, in 1985, Bob May, the guy inside the robot, wore this original suit for the last time ever on a TV show called America. And here's a very cool clip of that.
Welcome to America.
Sarah, who is your little pal here?
Well, this is the robot from that great TV series Lost in Space. Do you remember his name?
R2-D2.
Negative.
Are you positive?
That does not compute.
You can see that he didn't have his feet section on, and he was kind of shuffling along with his feet because the tread section wasn't there, which is how they shot a lot of Lost in Space with what they called the Bermuda shorts. Basically, they would pull the tread section off and they had a second set of legs that were strapped with a harness inside the torso, and Bob would carry it around, and that would allow the robot to walk with more mobility rather than just being pulled on a track. They would just shoot him from here up, and he would just kind of walk around. Anyway, that's what he was doing on the America show, and that was the last time that, unfortunately, Bob May ever got in the suit. Well, at this point, the robot was thrown back into storage until about 1988, when Michael Jackson, of all people, decided that he wanted to buy the robot from Lost in Space. So he went down, he inquired about it, they found it, they opened up the crates, and there it was. But it didn't look like the robot. It looked like the altered Mystery Island robot, and he didn't like it. So he didn't buy it. Whew, good thing, too, because then, 1 year later, Kevin Burns took the robot, restored it, and it was seen for the first time in Boston, 1990, for the 25th anniversary Lost in Space reunion. Kevin did a marvelous job with Greg Jean, who has sadly just recently passed away, restoring the robot for that convention, that reunion. But that, my friends, is the topic of another video. So once again, thank you so much for making this channel blow up so suddenly. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment. I'll get back to you if you have any questions. And I have a lot more videos planned right here on this channel about movies, music, and monsters. Take care.
Movies, music, and monsters.